No matter what year it is, people always seem to be asking the question, what's better for growing my audience, social media or blogging? I'll walk you through the pros and cons of both blogging and social media and give you some questions to ask yourself to help you figure out what the best option is for your unique business and goals. And truthfully, there is no simple, straightforward answer. So my goal is to help walk you through the decision-making process so you can make the best decision for your unique business. So first up, what is blogging? Blogging simply involves the regular publishing of long-form content on your website. Your blog is not a personal journal. The intention behind blogging is to create content that answers your ideal reader or customer's questions, so that when they search for those questions on Google, your content is what shows up in the search results with the answers. It's a way to attract people to your website by creating content that addresses their questions and needs. People often ask, why should I bother having a blog when I can just focus on social media and get tons of followers? Or, what's the benefit of starting a blog if I'm already killing it on social? But unfortunately, only focusing on social might be short-term thinking. So let's walk through some of the pros and cons of blogging as a business or marketing strategy. So some of the pros of blogging: it's great for people who love writing. You can sit at home in your pajamas, no makeup on, in the zone, having fun creating content that you know will attract even more people to your brand every day. By answering people's questions, you become the expert and the trusted resource, which is really helpful for gaining a loyal following, growing your email list, getting eyeballs on your brand, and gaining customers if you sell something. One of my favorite benefits is that rather than just guessing about what to post and hoping that something connects or goes viral or trying to copy a trend, you can actually use data to figure out how many people search for various topics every single month and what the difficulty is for ranking for those keywords. And then you can try to find higher volume, lower difficulty topics to write about in your niche to ensure that your content has a good chance to rank on the first page of Google search results, and thus get lots of visibility and clicks. And if you want some tips on doing this, please check out my free masterclass on growing your audience through blogging. You can find that at SEOfreebie.com. Another benefit of blogging is that it turns your website into a resource hub for your ideal reader or customer. That means you're putting in the effort to create an evergreen resource for your business. Unlike social media, where posts have a somewhat limited lifespan, your blog content can work for you for years, even decades. Yes, of course, it will probably need a little refresh here and there during that time period, depending on what you're writing about, but that's a great return on your initial time investment on that content, right? Because contrary to how social media works, your blog doesn't really have quote-unquote followers or subscribers, unless maybe they join your email list and are getting updates from you that way. But honestly, the power of your blog content is not even really to serve your existing audience. The real power is in its ability to attract anyone on the internet looking for information on whatever you write about, especially new people who don't already know you exist. So, for example, let's pretend you specialize in digestive health and you're looking up some topics to write about. And let's also pretend that you are an expert in this field with some legitimate credentials. And you find that you can write about the topic, does chocolate cause constipation, on your site. Maybe that's something that's been coming up with clients a lot, or you think it would make a great article in the constipation category on your website, for example. It turns out that people on the internet in the United States search for this phrase, does chocolate cause constipation, about 1,600 times every single month. And there's not a ton of competition to get your article to rank on the first page of Google. So you could create that post, and in a few weeks or months, if your content is created with a great SEO optimization strategy behind it, it will probably start ranking on the first page. And the higher you can get on that first page, the more of those 1,600 people will probably click over to your website every single month. If you can get into the number one spot, you can probably expect at least a few hundred clicks per month just from people searching for that one particular phrase. But well-written articles will also rank for many more related search terms, so your actual traffic will be even higher than that. Now, imagine that you publish new, highly optimized content like that week after week after week. It's easy to see how the momentum builds over time and can turn into something really significant. In fact, this strategy is exactly how I grew my nutrition focus blog to get more than 20,000 monthly visitors in 10 months with just 10 blog posts. This stuff really works, folks. So anyway, back to the perks of blogging. To summarize, it's insanely fun if you're an introvert like me and love writing. You don't have to be salesy at all, and you can make money just from creating content. It's not necessarily an easy or quick way to making a lot of money, but you're building up an evergreen stockpile of content that will bring you more visitors and more income year after year after year. So if you're patient and you're playing the long game, it really, really pays off. And what I personally like the best is that you don't have to guess at all about what to write about. There are tried and true tested strategies to find topics that are worth your time. And another big perk is that you don't have to feel so on all the time with blogging, pressured to show up or show your face online. You can publish something, let's say once a week, and feel pretty good about it. Blogging gives you the opportunity to go way more in depth on a topic in a very clear, structured way, much more so than you could do on social media. So they're really a great pairing, the short form content on social, the longer in-depth posts on your blog. And this really allows you to highlight your expertise and get your readers results or answers. And personally, the biggest thing that I think about is that if something happens in your life and you need to take some time off, you totally can with blogging without a huge negative impact on your business. For example, my extremely old food blog still gets 7,000 to 10,000 people every single month visiting the website, and I haven't posted on it in 6 years. So sure, you may stop growing as quickly if you take a break, but you're not going to see a huge drop in your audience if you stop publishing content for a few months. So let's say you have a baby, or you're taking a huge vacation, or you're just burnt out. You can take time off and your business will not fall apart. Blogging also has a natural exit strategy. People are out there buying profitable blogs all the time. It's not unusual to get paid like 30 times your monthly profit when you sell a blog. So, for example, if you have a blog and you're able to generate, let's say, $5,000 a month in ad revenue and affiliate income, you could potentially sell that site for about $150,000 and then move on and start something new, or like put a down payment on a house or something really life-changing. In fact, there's a whole sub-industry of people who do just that. They start and build up niche blogs to a certain level, and then they sell them off to people who would rather buy a solid, validated site than put in the time and effort to start one from scratch. And most importantly, everything you're building on your website is your own. You are in control of your own website. The look, the feel, the features, the content, any changes that you decide to make. Sometimes, unfortunately, you can get banned from social media, but you cannot get banned from your own website. Now, I know I just listed off a whole bunch of blogging pros, but there are cons, of course, as well, so let's cover those. First off, not everyone likes writing. There is no need to force yourself to become a writer if it doesn't speak to you. In fact, please do not do that because you'll probably just grow to resent your blog. But if you see the value of blogging, but you just don't want to create the content yourself, you can always hire out and still reap the benefits. Another con is that blogging definitely takes time. It will probably take you longer to create a really great blog post than it will to create social media posts for the week. But remember, these blog posts keep working for you for years, so it's not sunken time. Another con is that it's not free to start a blog. Setting up a website does cost some money to start, and depending on how fancy you want to get, you'll probably need to spend at the very minimum at least $50 or $100 upfront to get started. And of course, you are still at the mercy of the Google ranking algorithm. So like anything online, it's important to get people onto your email list as much as possible so that you have a direct connection to them. There is an algorithm controlling the search results. And while today we have a somewhat decent understanding of what you need to do to get your content to rank, best practices do change with time. So you have to keep up and possibly adjust your content over time to maintain your rankings. Blogging also moves a lot more slowly than social media. It's going to take time for Google to find and rank your content after you publish it. For most websites, it's not like you're going to publish something and it'll show up on page 1 a few hours later. It can take weeks or even months for a new post to slowly climb its way up in the rankings and bring you more traffic, especially if your website is new. It's definitely a long-term game. It can also be harder to outsource blogging. Writing great content is a skill that not everyone inherently has, and those who are great at it have probably put in a lot of time and effort into honing that skill. So hiring other people to write for you will likely be more expensive than hiring someone to whip up some social media posts for you. Additionally, if you create content around YMYL topics, your money or your life topics, which includes health and nutrition, you'll need that content to at least be reviewed by or vouched for by someone with formal expertise in your niche. AKA, you can't just have your best friend casually create nutrition articles for you. You'll need to either hire a writer with expertise in that space, hire a reviewer with expertise in that space, or be the reviewer yourself if you have the expertise. So that's the pros and cons of blogging. And if you couldn't tell, I love blogging. But I also see the value in social media and have begun dabbling in it more myself. So let's go over the pros and cons of social media as well. So what am I talking about when I say social media? So for the purpose of this video, when I'm talking about social media, I'm talking about social networking platforms like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or X, I guess I should say, or TikTok, where you create a profile, post content, and hopefully grow an audience of engaged followers. So some of the pros of social media are that it is free to start. So if you're not sure about your niche or you're not sure if what you're going to talk about will connect with people, social media can be an excellent way to just kind of test things out. You just have to create an account on the platform of your choice and start posting. It's very simple and has an extremely low barrier to entry. You can create content in smaller, bite-sized chunks on social media, and this fits some people's personalities better than long-form content. They like to offer smaller tidbits frequently over time versus long-form content to their audience. Social media can be great for people who just don't really like writing. Maybe they're really into filming themselves on video or designing eye-catching graphics. In that case, social media could be a great fit. If you decide to eventually dabble in ads, social media also has really powerful targeting and retargeting options to better reach your audience. Although I will say this has been changing with all the new privacy regulations going into effect. Social media can also be more automatable. You can create lots of content in batches and schedule it out in advance. And you can even recycle the content and have it repost at preset intervals, so you're not constantly coming up with new stuff 24/7. You can repeat your best hits. You may also find it easier to outsource on social media. You can hire people pretty easily online to help you create and publish nice-looking content on your social media platforms. Social media also moves way faster than blog content. You post and people see it and you start getting engagement and feedback immediately. And depending on what you're posting about and why, having that quick feedback might be really important to you. You definitely get better immediate reach on social media. Like I said, with blogging, it can take months for a post to start ranking well in Google search. With social media, you can reach thousands of people immediately after posting something. If you have the right strategy behind your content creation, you can consistently convert a portion of these people over to your email list to deepen that connection over time. There's also a chance to go viral on social media that doesn't really exist in the blogging world. You can create a post that may suddenly become super popular on a specific social media platform. And if that happens, you could be exposed to thousands, hundreds of thousands, maybe even millions of new people overnight, and your audience could grow by an extreme amount in a very short period of time. Blogging, on the other hand, tends to be a lot more slow and steady growth over many years. Social media is also really good for networking. Your social profiles can be a great place to show your brand's personality and connect with other people in your niche. It's much easier to connect with people directly on social media versus through a blog. And because it's more personable and people can see your face and know your personality, it builds trust a lot more quickly. So it may help shorten how much time you need before someone feels ready to buy from you after they find you. Social media is very personable, so depending on the platform you choose, someone's really going to get to know you, see your face, hear your voice and your personality. And like I said, this really helps build that know, like, trust factor way faster than just reading some text on your website. You can also strategically share links to your sales pages, wait lists, email opt-ins, etc. to help you make more sales through social media and grow your email list, which of course is crucial for long-term online business success. So There are a ton of pros of social media, but there are cons, of course, as well. So let's cover those real quick. So because it's so easy to be on social media, the competition to stand out can be fierce. Especially now with some of the platforms being around for as long as they have, it was often easier for influencers to gain traction when organic reach was better or the algorithms were more simplistic. It's tough out there these days. Social media is also not as evergreen as blog content. It's much more of the now. So something you posted on social media 2 years ago is probably not going to be driving you a bunch of eyeballs to your brand anymore. Things move quickly on social media, and what's popular today might not be trending next month. There's also a much larger focus on the visual aspect on social media, so video, pictures, snappy graphic designs, trending audio. Whether this is good or not depends on how your brain works and what you enjoy. And social media is also not as easily searchable as content on the web. So with social media, you're really not reliably able to reverse engineer successful content in the same way that you can with blogging. There's no keyword research for social media to see what people search for and try to understand your chances of ranking for a certain search term on any given platform. And the algorithms do tend to change more frequently and more significantly than Google. Like when Facebook killed organic reach for pages. Instagram, for example, has switched from being a photo-first platform to favoring reels and carousels. And these changes can require big shifts in your strategy, significantly impact your reach and engagement, and they can happen at any time. Yes, Google algorithms can change too, but those changes are usually less frequent and less dramatic. Social media is good for connection and audience building, but it's typically not a great driver of traffic to a website. Social media platforms want to keep people on the platform, so they tend to not promote content that has external links as much. So there tends to be a low correlation between the number of your followers on a social media platform and how many people you'll get to your website from those platforms to view your actual blog content. So if your goal for your business is to get lots and lots of people onto your website and earn ad revenue, for example, social media is probably not as good as Google in that regard in terms of driving consistent people to your actual website. I'm definitely not saying it can't bring you some traffic, but it usually pales in comparison to the power of organic search with Google. Social media may also require more of your personal time and connection. So you yourself might want to spend time responding to comments and DMs, interacting with other accounts, creating reels or videos with your face in them, etc. So depending on your personality, you may absolutely love this type of work, or you may absolutely dread it and find that it's a lot harder to outsource without losing the core personality of your business, for example. It can also be much harder to take time off without losing steam. Having a drop in engagement can kill you in the algorithm, so it's much harder to temporarily step away from social media without seeing a negative impact. And finally, you are building your brand on rented land. So for example, in the past, entire social media platforms have shut down. There was a whole platform called Vine that just went into the ether years ago, and people lost their entire brand and following because they were only building their connection with people through Vine. Facebook in the past has throttled organic page reach, and they're probably eventually going to start throttling the organic reach of other things like groups as well. Instagram is now promoting video more than photos these days. So it's absolutely not a waste of time to have a social media presence, but just know that you're always at the whim of the actual platform owner's decisions. But bottom line, you have to do what makes sense for your overall business goals. So that's the key here. The truth is there is no magic bullet for online business. There are successful people using social media to drive almost their entire business, and they rarely post anything on their websites. Likewise, there are hugely successful bloggers and online business owners whose main focus is their blog, and they're hardly present at all on social media. But where I see a lot of people get into trouble is lacking clarity around what their unique online business goals are and what type of content creation they actually enjoy and thus will stick to, and how they plan to monetize their business as they grow their audience. For example, the content creation strategy for a one-on-one health coach trying to market services will probably look pretty different from the content creation strategy for a food blogger trying to make ad revenue and grow a large audience to work with brands or make affiliate income. And if you don't know where you're ultimately trying to head, it's very difficult to weed through the mountains of potential advice and create a clear plan to get there. Lack of clarity is how you end up listening to 500 different online business gurus, getting totally overwhelmed by all the different tactics and strategies, trying to implement 20 of them at once, and understandably, getting nowhere with any of them. And that's going to lead you to burnout, resentment, and a whole lot of unnecessary stress. So bottom line, regardless of whether you choose to pursue blogging or social media as your initial primary growth strategy, you are going to need a plan. Winging it is not going to cut it for either type of platform these days. So I really encourage you, after listening to this video, take the time to answer the following questions. Number 1, who are you speaking to? Who do you desire to serve within your business? For example, maybe you would like to serve women in their 20s and 30s with IBS. Then I want you to figure out what problems are you solving for them. So maybe you specialize in how to follow a low FODMAP diet and reintroduction plan to find a long-term way of eating that reduces their digestive symptoms. And then what kind of content creation do you actually enjoy? Do you like writing? Do you like video? Do you like audio? Do you like short form content? Figure out what you like to do and can do consistently for years. Next, where do you desire to create the core content of your business? Do you want to focus on your blog with written content? Do you want to do video on YouTube? Do you want to do a podcast with audio? Or do you want to double down on social media platforms like Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, or X, TikTok, etc.? And then finally, how do you want to get compensated to solve people's problems? Do you want to do one-on-one work? Do you want to sell online courses? Do you want to run a membership site? Do you want to focus on creating free content monetized with ads, sponsors, affiliate links, etc.? You can eventually create more than one revenue stream, obviously, but I urge you to focus on one stream to start. Build it up till it's steady and then start expanding. So once you have the answers to those last 2 questions, your platform of choice and monetization method of choice, you can then find the correct mentors to help you accomplish your goals. If your ultimate dream form of content creation is writing and blogging to attract and grow your audience, then you don't have to look any further. You are in the right place right here to learn all about building a thriving blog. Whether you plan for your blog to be your business or you want your blog as an attractive mechanism for bringing buyers right to you, I can teach you exactly how to do that from step A to step Z. So if you are interested in learning more about blogging as a business strategy, head to SEO-freebie.com and watch my free training on building an audience online without social media or paid ads. In that training, I'll outline the 4 key steps of my reps framework that you're going to need to create content that attracts thousands of people to your website and brand every single month. That's SEO-freebie.com. I'll put a link to that as well below. And the best part is, after you have created high-quality evergreen blog content, you can totally repurpose that content as well. Break it up into bite-sized pieces, post on social media, create a podcast episode or YouTube video around it, share a link on Pinterest or LinkedIn, etc. Don't reinvent the wheel. Make your content work for you. Social media is fabulous, but for the ultimate 1-2 punch, it needs to be linked to something like a website or an email list to help guide people from that rented land over to your own ecosystem. So again, if you are interested in learning more about blogging as a business strategy, just head to SEO-freebie.com and watch my 100% free training that will show you the ropes. And if you're liking this content, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel for more.